Hello everybody, this is Jen from Scrapping Posh, and I am here now with my 4x4 mini album B design, and I'll be showing you the layout here in just a moment. If you haven't seen the cover tutorial, please see the 4x4 cover tutorial in order to begin this project. There's also a mini album A tutorial, and then there'll be at least 2 more designs in this series. So, right now, off the bat, if you did watch the mini album A tutorial, you will see that this is exactly the same with the exception of the flap is now a diagonal pocket. So keep that in mind. I'm going to be going a bit faster through this video because a lot of it is repetition. I sped most of the video up by 4. Okay, and you see I have the covers sitting aside there ready to go. And you'll be happy to know that the tutorials are all complete. I just need to edit the videos and do the voiceovers. So, all good. Now you can see by this template that I provided that each one of these is a page in the book. So that if you do decide to do one of these mini albums, it takes approximately 1 sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock and 8 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. If you would like to use the silhouette cut file that I have created for these books, it will be available on my blog, www.scrappingposh.blogspot.com, in the free downloads tab. So that file includes both the cover and the hinge and all, or just the B page design. The other 3 page designs will be on a different video, or I'm sorry, on a different file. The A is already up. I'll get the B up as soon as possible so that you guys can get going on these. Now, I've already got all the pages cut, so I'm starting with my pattern paper mats, and this is the Bewitched mat stack from DCWV. It was probably a few years old. And if you look at the PDF, or at the beginning, the pattern that I gave you for these pages, the big spot to the right, which is actually the base page, has all the dimensions for the mats on it. So super easy to get that in process. The only thing I said that's different is that 3.5 by 2 inch diagonal pocket, and you'll see here how I accomplish that. Basically, I just use the cover, or the page pocket, as a template and trace it, making it approximately an 1/8 to a 16th inch smaller around all sides. So as I'm doing these pages, I'm actually getting more efficient at it, faster, and using less paper. So originally I was saying that it was about a half of one of these mat stacks, which is a whole 176 pieces of paper, so it was approximately 38 pieces of paper. Now I'm using even less than that, maybe 30 at the top, so you can get even more out of your stash than what you thought. Or you can buy these specifically for that. I think these are actually less expensive now than they were when I was buying them. Oh, pay attention, everybody. This is what I'm making the diagonal pockets. Basically, I'm making sure that those pieces of paper are at least 1 7/8 inch wide. And then I'll take one. You'll see it here in a moment. You'll take this one and I'm going to flip it over and use that as a template to make the diagonal. After I cut it down to 3 1/8 inch. So once I get all these 8 cut, I had a couple that weren't quite 1 7/8 inch, so they didn't work. But as you can see, I'm going to flip this diagonal pocket over, make the 2 marks, and check the fit, and then I'm going to use that first piece that I checked the fit of for the rest of the pockets. Now, I told you I have 15 more that are in process, and I actually created a template for that so that every time I need to make those, I just use the template. So if you plan on doing many of these, that's just a good idea so that you don't have to do that measurement every time. Okay, so sorry, it's going to be blurry for a couple seconds here. I'm not exactly sure why, but it does go away as soon as I'm done cutting these diagonals. I would have cut it out, but I thought that that was one of the most significant parts of this video since it's the only thing that's different on the mini album A, C, and D. So this particular mat stack, I've actually made a 4x4 mini album before. I used a white base when I made the first one, and it's a really cute mat stack to use a white base on. And so I didn't have half of a mat stack left. So you'll see that, one, I didn't cut very efficiently, especially when you see me doing those diagonal pockets. They weren't, I mean, I could have fit probably twice as many on one of those little pages. So then couple that with the fact that I didn't have a half a stack, and I end up having to cobble some pieces together. But I think it turns out really neat looking, so I'm not upset about it at all. So just keep that in mind when you see me cutting or taping some stuff together. And I think it's absolutely acceptable. I think it looks nice. I don't think that it looks cobbled together. So, general comment, I have a couple viewers who, well, I have one viewer, at least that I know of, Estelle. She left me a comment and would like me to do conversions into metric. And I will do conversions into metric and make those downloadable on my PDF files, but it's going to be a few days because I haven't even done the file for the D-Design yet. So what I'll probably do is try and make it cleaner and redo it, add the centimeters, because everything that I did was in inches. So hopefully that helps more than just one person out. And I'll put all the measurements then in metric so that you guys from outside the state can participate without having to do those conversions yourself. And I think at first I wasn't going to do it, but then I thought, you know what, it would just be easier for me to do it than if, you know, let's say 20 people wanted to make this and had to convert it all themselves. It's just, it makes sense to me. So most definitely I will put new files up with the conversions as soon as I accomplish that. So maybe sometime this week I can accomplish that. No, my daughter has homecoming coming up next weekend, so it may be a busy week for me. So, and here I'm just taking, there was a tiny cut apart from that paper stack, and I just thought it was really cute. So I did cut apart some of those extras that I had sitting there, and I'll back them on black cardstock, and I'll just stick those throughout the album. Especially with the diagonal pocket, you have more places in this album than in the albums A, C, and D to stick extra embellishments and stuff. So I do like the pockets. I like the pockets a lot. And in the standard, when I put all these together, the A, B, C, and D, 2 of each page in one album, those 2 diagonal pockets that are in there allows for an additional tucking spot. So I think that's really a good thing. You see me cobbling my paper together now. And yeah, that one even has 3 of them, but I did get enough out of this mat stack, and I got to throw it away, the cover and the back. Well, I actually kept the back. I'm going to use the back for a layer together several pieces of chipboard from these and make some covers out of them. So don't throw those away. You can use them if you put 3 of those chipboard covers together with glue or with even tape would work just fine. And it will give you the 1/8" chipboard for pretty much free because it was a scrap. So now you see me putting the pages together, same as I did in the first video. You can see how I tucked that page under to make the give it a little bit of dimension, so that's easy to slide those tags in and out of after you put them, straddle them over those hinges. So, and I have not creased another page since I did the first one because I'm really careful about when putting those on, starting from the middle and working my way out to the ends. I thought about doing some videos as far as how to make one of these in the Cameo Silhouette software, because I do make them all from scratch. And I don't want to, because I don't know that I'm doing it the easiest way. And I would really hate to show all you guys how to, you know, put these things together in the software and then have it be like just the hardest way ever to do it. And you guys could totally do it easier. So I'll just give you the files that I create so that you guys can share in my, I love it. I love using the studio, the Silhouette Cameo to cut these pages. One, because like my least favorite part of doing a mini album is cutting and scoring the pages. And the main reason I dislike that part so much is because there's so much room for error, and not big error like cutting a 1/2 inch off or something like that. I mean, that happens when I'm cutting my photo mats. But I'm talking errors like kind of, you know, just cutting it crooked or folding it crooked. Okay, so if you're doing this, if you're following along, don't put the diagonal pockets on first. You'll see me now, I'm going to rip them off. We need to mat the pages first. And by the way, I did go over all these pages with the black soot distress ink. So, okay. Now, after you put the base page on, you can put the diagonal pocket on. You want to push that diagonal pocket as far over toward the hinge as you can without obstructing the page from folding. So test that out because it is just big enough to fit on that page. I didn't leave any room to any room for error. It actually sticks a little bit off of the page, but not enough to bother me. So with these pattern papers, there's several that have glitter on them, and the glue doesn't always want to stick so much to those. So about here, I realized that that's happening, and I decided that I'm trying to keep the glittered paper on the opposite side that the pocket's on, keeping in mind that I still have to glue the belly band and the little placeholder down on the opposite page. So yeah, I still have to struggle with it, but not so bad. So there are some images on these, like that little house is really cute, and I was like struggling with, I didn't want to cover it up. I probably should have used it for the cover, one of the inside covers, so that I didn't have to cover it, but it's okay. You can still kind of tell what it is. So, I mean, pretty much the rest of this is extremely uneventful and a repeat of what the mini album A and it was and what C and D will be. So, I can talk about some other things that I have going on. Like I said in the share video, I have 15, well, actually I've already made one, so I had a total of 16 more of these in process. The one I made was the template for the rest of them, just to make sure that I had the measurements right and all that good stuff. So basically I put one together with all 4 different page designs in it. I double checked the dimensions of the mats and I wrote those down. So now I have pages cut out of 4. I'll have 4 each, red, white, black, and craft cardstock colors. I've picked out I think 13 different mat stacks because I used one of them 3 times, I think. So I'm in the process of cutting all the the paper, the pattern paper now, and I have, I think, about half of them done. And then I have, originally I had made these albums so that I could use up my chipboard stash, but since then I have used my whole chipboard stash. I have none left this size. So I do have pieces of cardboard that I have put together. They were free pieces of cardboard. My daughter's in the marching band for her school, and I am the vice president of the Music Boosters program. It's a nonprofit organization to support the kids, and this buys their uniforms, and when they go on field trips, they support most of the costs or some of the costs for the field trips, whatever they can. So that was just a explanation of I had purchased magnets for, I designed and purchased the magnets for the music boosters, and they were on 4x6 magnets, and they had all the dates of the concerts. And in between every magnet, and there was 200 magnets, so you figure I have not quite, but almost 200 of these little pieces of cardboard, and they're lightweight chipboard. There was this piece of 4x6 chipboard. So I have a huge stack of lightweight chipboard and also the backs of albums, or the backs of like pattern paper. I kept all those too. So I'm going to start cutting those up before I cut any chipboard. And I still want to do my big albums too, but I don't think I'll be able to do those before I need to get these done for the craft fair on December 9th. And by the way, the craft fair is also for that Music Boosters program. So it's to raise money for the kids in the band and the choir. So it's a neat program. And extremely underfunded. The sports programs get a lot of the funding because they bring a lot of money in as far as ticket sales and such go. So now you'll see me struggling to get these placeholders on and to stick because of, like I said before, the papers that have the glitter on them. The glue just doesn't want to stick, but it does work. It just takes a little bit more time than it would if it didn't have the glitter. So, having told you about my nonprofit organization for my daughter's school, if anybody has just this exorbitant amount of money and doesn't know what to do with it, send it on down to Smithville, Ohio High School Music Boosters. I know that's kind of ridiculous, but since you guys now know all about it, maybe you never know. We did have someone locally who donated a fair amount of money, just kind of off the cuff. He says every year he picks a charity to donate, and he picked ours this year, so it was really nice. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but it was for our cause, so awesome stuff when people do that. Like I said before, this video is a lot shorter than the first one because I did speed it up quite a bit since it was mostly repetitive. And as for my other videos, you see that I keep that wet towel there to remove the excess glue when it seeps out the side. If you hear a quacking noise, it is my dog playing with its squeaky toy. It's nearly impossible for me to get how long is this video? 30 some odd minutes of uninterrupted quiet time. And actually I stop it quite often because the dogs bark, and I know when dogs bark on videos that I'm watching, it makes my dogs bark. So whenever my dogs bark, I try to catch it and cut it out. So I am trying to be mindful of that. So while I'm putting together these tags, if you all make it this far, leave me a comment and tell me, do you think I should put ribbons in those tags? I don't know. I've thought about it. I have plenty of ribbon. I would be able to do that. I would love to get rid of it to use on something like this. Would it create interest, or would it make it look messy? So yeah, if you guys get this far and wouldn't mind sharing an opinion with me, that would be great. My ATG tape ran out of tape. My ATG gun. That is a bigger ATG tape than the Scotch brand. This is the Uline brand. If you ever went to uline.com, when I buy ATG tape, which isn't very often, I purchase it, I think, 72 rolls at a time, and I buy the cheap stuff. So, all right, well, this video is coming to an end, and sorry my rambling. If you have any comments, questions, concerned, if you just totally hate my rambling, tell me, and I'll stop doing it. Trying to find something to talk about while doing this. I don't have to give you the dimensions like I did in the last video because it's basically the same. So, yeah, my apologies if I talk too much. So, you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope you get some kind of use out of them. If you have any questions, please let me know, and be on the lookout for the metric conversions on my blog. I will post the metric conversions before I post the videos for C&D. So be on the lookout for that. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.